Yo guys, Spiderbot here. We got some Transit Zombies for you guys, and it's been a long time coming here with the Marlton quotes. We posted 2 videos before the holidays with all of Marlton's quotes. Now we're going to pull a select few of his quotes out here, and we're going to talk about them, discuss them. And I've actually numbered them so we can reference them easily in the video comments, because I'm going to need some help from some of you guys in, I haven't heard all these quotes in-game. Perhaps you guys have heard some. We're going to be talking about them. And if you can identify the locations where you've heard them, or in what chain of events have you heard these specific quotes, that would help out a lot. I mean, it's hard to pinpoint amongst 4 characters every single location and everything you could possibly do to get all these quotes and to identify exactly where they take place. So your help would be greatly appreciated. So let's get started here.
Quickly! Beat off the zombies! Beat them off! Oh, what? Why are you laughing at me?
Alright, that was Marlton quote number 1. I know, it's just a funny little quote, okay? It has nothing to do with storyline or whatever, but I thought it was kind of funny, okay? Let's get on to number 2.
Clearly they are hungry! Throw them Russman!
So there are actually a number of Marlton quotes that reference Marlton's dislike for Russman. It's clearly evident, and there seems to be a clear divide between Marlton and Misty versus Russman and Stuhlinger, which we'll see in a moment here. But there are a couple more quotes where Marlton basically shows his dislike for Russman.
Oh look, Russman displays violent behavior! How extraordinary. Yes, well, violence has always been your milieu, Russman. Russman! Run to the storm and see if you can measure the gigawattage!
Alright, there are a couple more quotes there showing his dislike for Russman, including the one, hey, Russman, go to the storm and measure the gigawattage, and maybe the lightning will strike you, right? Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of quotes with reference to Stuhlinger. Again, there are more quotes associated with his displeasure to Russman versus Stu, but he still doesn't like Stu very much.
Loud and obnoxious just like Stu, but effective. I'm used to Russman being a fool, and Stuhlinger, but Misty, you're doing fine.
Again, showing the clear character divide between Marlton and Misty versus Russman and Stuhlinger. And definitely, Marlton does have something going on for Misty. Him and Misty, maybe they'll get together. Who knows? Maybe during the DLC, we'll have to see.
Misty would be so disappointed in me if I were to die now.
Alright, so as mentioned, there are other quotes that reference the character relationships. I'm not going to, post them all here. You can go back to the first 2 videos and check out all of the quotes from Marlton, again, if you would like. Let's get on to some of the more interesting ones.
That is indeed the explosive compound trinitrotoluene.
Alright, so this one isn't that interesting. He's referring to TNT, basically, which is trinitrotoluene, and I believe possibly the monkey bombs when he references or states this quotation. I've never heard it in-game, but it may also be stated when he's possibly using other explosive weaponry, like RPGs, or upgraded RPGs, perhaps, or other weapons that may have grenade launchers on them, possibly Semtex. I don't know if they use TNT in Semtex or frag grenades, but again, just I think referencing some of the explosive weapons in the game.
Odd. I have never heard that before.
Alright, again, as stated at the beginning of the video, if you guys have any idea of when or where and under what circumstances Marlton actually says this quote, please let us know in the comments. I don't think I've ever heard this one in-game, and I'm trying to piece together, where he would actually say something like that. I'm not sure, so odd. I've never heard that before. If anybody knows where and when he's actually stated that, please let us know in the comments and reference number 9.
Let us team our efforts and use the weapon to its fullest potential.
Alright, so I can't really think of a weapon that would require 2 players. I guess really the only thing, 2 things that I could think of are, A, perhaps the jet gun when used in conjunction with a turbine, right? So somebody's firing the gun, and we know that the turbine actually, placed down from another player, actually recharges or cools off the jet gun a lot faster than it normally would if just left alone. The other sort of weapon or device is possibly the electrical trap. I mean, you have the electrical trap but it requires a turbine in order to power it. So those are the only, really, the two weapons that I could think of that, you know, you would have characters team their efforts to use to its fullest potential. I guess you could also consider the turret to be a third weapon possibility that would fit with this quote. But if you guys have any other ideas of possible weapons, or you've actually heard Marlton say this, then let us know when, where, how, under what circumstances, etc. Reference number 10.
They asked me to leave? I was the one reporting the disgusting behavior. Makes no sense.
Alright, so we've actually heard this quote before, but it was on Nuketown Zombies. You know, when you go up to the bomb shelter, you actually hear Marlton quotes from Tranzit in the bomb shelter on Nuketown Zombies, and that's where we heard this one. They asked me to leave. I was the one reporting the disgusting behavior. Makes no sense, but I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard this in Tranzit, and it actually fits. I think it seems to fit in with this next quote right here.
Just because one is different is not a valid excuse to simply banish him.
So these two quotes seem to fit hand in hand, and as we've seen with other quotes, depending on the situation, I mean, you might say one particular quote about something, but then another quote would actually fit in with that same instance in the game. So I believe number 11 and 12 here actually fit in the same instance. It's just what instant does that fit in? And we've actually heard this one as well on Nuketown Zombies, but I can't, for the life of me, think of... You know, other than perhaps Marlton being downed and he's about to die, maybe that means that's where these quotes come from, perhaps. But is there some other situation where you would actually hear these quotes? If anybody has heard these, but like I said, the only logical place I could think where these, you know, you would hear these quotes is when Marlton is actually downed, about to die.
Great! Tesla coils!
So this one I found kind of interesting. I believe he would actually say this when assembling the electrical trap, because there are sort of two coils, or it looks like there are two Tesla coils on either side of that device, and that makes up that electrical trap, which would make a whole lot of sense. But if you guys have been following the Transit Secrets videos, where I'm referencing a couple of forum posts by a guy named Panaz, and you can go back to them, and we're going to be talking about this as we continue with the Transit Secrets series, but there is a whole, like, slew of posts and linkages that he actually made to Tesla coils, and Nikola I think it's Nikola Tesla who actually came up with the whole concept. So just an interesting tie-in, I think, with the Tesla coils, with the electrical trap, and with some of the Transit zombie secrets.
Bulk purchasing engaged. Prepare for a one-man shopping spree.
All right, these two quotes, numbers 14 and 15, I believe were perhaps cut from the game. And let's listen to number 15 before we go any further here.
Fire sale! Most unexpected and most welcomed.
So yeah, fire sale. Have you ever seen a fire sale on Transit? And Transit is the only place where you would hear quotations from the characters. I know that fire sale does exist on Nuketown Zombies, and I believe it's only co-op. I don't think I've ever had a fire sale on solo. It's only co-op, and I don't believe that you get fire sales on the other survival maps. It's only on Nuketown Zombies. So perhaps at one point they had thought about having fire sale on Transit, but it's not there unless there's something that we have to do, some sort of progression or something we have to activate or whatever that unlocks fire sale. I don't know, but definitely the quotations, the character quotes are there for it.
I'm afraid this technology is so far beyond my wildest dreams of comprehension that it saddens me.
Okay, another quote that I've never heard Marlton say. The only thing I can think of, or the only location or device that I would think he would say this about would be the Pack-a-Punch, right? I mean, you're upgrading the weapon. These are now, you know, upgrading to element 115 weapons, and that's... You know, everything else doesn't seem to fit in with this quotation. None of the buildable devices or anything else would be beyond his wildest dreams of comprehension, because I'm pretty sure that Marlton can have pretty wild dreams of comprehension. So if you got, again, number 16, reference number 16 in the comments if you've actually heard him say this, and when and where, but my guess would be at the Pack-a-Punch.
I have a funny feeling about this place. No doubt some animal instinct left over from evolution.
All right, so this quote and the next, I believe, I know this one definitely Marlton says when he enters the bank, and I believe for the first time. And it's funny because all the characters have some sort of similar quotation when they enter the bank, which makes me think, is it kind of giving us a hint that perhaps, there is that underground portion in the bank vault underneath the bank, or is there some other clue they're referring to? Like, were they held under there? I mean, they're cages. Perhaps there was another area that, is maybe not openable to us, but maybe that's where they came from. It sounds like each of the characters has obviously been there before. Let's listen to the next one. Here's the next one as well.
This must be the sensation they call déjà vu.
Now, I'm pretty sure Marlton also can say this in the bank. I remember the number 17 a lot more. I think I've heard that more often than, and I'm not sure if I've actually heard this one, but again, referring to, having been at the bank location before, and all of the characters have been, I believe. So what were they doing there? Under what circumstances were they there? What do you guys think?
Misty! While you're there, get me a sample!
All right, another quote that I've never heard from Marlton. I'm not sure where Misty could be and what sample. A sample of what? What the hell is she? What is he talking about? Please, in the comments, number 19. When, where, and under what circumstances have you guys heard this comment, and we'll piece them together.
Well, this looks like a location where lots of interesting things are going to happen. Certainly not repetitive.
All right, again, I can't confirm that I've ever heard this quote, as well as number 21, which seems to be indicating the same thing or the same location. Let's listen to actually number 21 right here.
Surely there must be something interesting to be had here, but damned if I can find it.
All right, so I believe these two quotes are actually referring to the same location, and I believe that location may perhaps be at the pylon. So, obviously, hey, zombies, repetitive? No. There's no repetition in zombies. But again, the two quotes, something interesting or interesting things are going to happen, and there must be something interesting to be had here, but damned if I can find it. And again, perhaps number 21, the second one, he actually says before you build the nav card table. So, indicating or providing us clues to search for the nav card table, right? Or to search for that spot where we can build it. But again, I'm pretty sure that he's referring to the pylon location.
Huh? Something has decidedly changed.
All right, the last of two quotes that I've never heard either from Marlton. Huh? Something has decidedly changed. Thinking about what happens on Transit. When you go to the farm before you turn the power on, I think you can have the power on. Not sure. Anyways, before you turn the power on, you go to farm, you go to the television, you actually hold your activate button, square, or X on Xbox, and then you release it, and it sounds like a door has opened. So perhaps that is when he would say something like this. I can't. Maybe perhaps when we've done something at the pylon. Again, I haven't heard this. If you guys have, leave a comment, reference number 22. But, yeah, it makes sense, the farm television, when you hear the sound of a door opening, perhaps, or what sounds like the sound that would be made on previous Call of Duty Zombies for a door opening.
Wunderbar! That is Spanish for you are lucky.
All right, and this last one, again, I haven't heard, but it seems to be referencing something, Richtofen would say. Only Samuel's the only one who can hear Richtofen, so Marlton would have no idea who he is, and I wouldn't expect him to use that same word. And isn't that like a German word, though? Maybe there's a Spanish translation? Hold on, let me Google that for a second here. Okay, I couldn't really find a Spanish translation. I mean, in German to English, it means wonderful. I don't know. You were lucky. Anybody heard it? Let us know. Anyways, that's it for the Marlton quotes. Again, one to pick out the ones that I thought were kind of interesting or actually provided some background to the storyline, as well as ones that would lead us on to something else, perhaps. And again, I mean, it's hard for one group of individuals to go through and hear everything, every possible quote that a character can say, and identify the exact location and circumstances where they would say it. And again, that's why this is, I'm making this a community effort, right? I mean, this is the whole point of the whole Zombies Easter egg run and the videos, etc., is that we want community involvement, and because we can't do it by ourselves, and we've never made any claim to being able to do it by ourselves. I mean, we utilize people that we play with, as well as forums and videos, etc. So if you guys have any input at all in some of these quotes, especially the ones that we haven't been able to identify the circumstances where Marlton would say them, then please let us know in the comments. And what we'll probably end up doing once we're done, looking at all the quotes from all the characters, we will do a compilation video at the end and sort of combine some of the common ones that occur in the same locations. It's just you have different quotes from different characters, and perhaps that will lead us to some insight onto what is happening or what might happen on Transit with the new endgame supposedly outed. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. That's Marlton. We'll catch you next time. I'm Spider, and I'm out.